Hi. Thanks for joining me. I'm taking a little self-care break. I'm here visiting my parents who live in a very remote area, part of western South Dakota. This morning I've already seen a dozen mule deer cross over the front lawn and have listened to the morning chatterings of I don't even know how many wild turkeys. Birds all around. And the truth of it is that this is a beautiful place. Absolutely gorgeous opportunity to be in nature. And yet, as someone who has cultivated a daily practice, a discipline of self-care, the truth is I'm being challenged at every turn. Partly because I'm not entirely in control. I'm a guest in my parents' home, and they have their routine. I'm also working in 2 time zones, still managing my studio at home, which is, like I said, 2 time zones away. But really what it is, hi there, my mom's cats like to roam and visit, is prioritizing even the smallest mindful moments. Like recognizing that there's a lot to be grateful for. My newsletter that I wrote for distribution this week was honest about my reflection that sometimes I have to cultivate gratitude for the practice of gratitude. And sometimes it's a permission to be okay with this, just as it is. Let it be enough. My mom is sick. My mom is suffering from dementia and mostly inability to hold on to information and memories. She can recall some things, and so we're grateful to share stories. And yet there's a lot of patience required to be in that process, right? To hold space for someone who is unaware and even uncomfortable when they are aware of their current circumstance. But funnily enough, she made me laugh this morning. She'll be 75 next month. And she said, I don't feel elderly. And she's, of course, speaking of her spirit, which encourages me. That despite the fact that she's had both shoulders surgically reconstructed after 4-wheeler accidents and horseback riding accidents over the years, she's got a number of hip issues and even broken one of her lower legs 16 times. Now, these were a number of years ago, and she said, since recovered. But for her to be 75 years old and to tell me that she's not yet elderly, it really does affirm that our mental mindset, our attitude is absolutely critical to cultivating gratitude and joy. Even when, listen the breeze, even when we might not know where we are, might not know how we got here, and might not know where we're going or how much longer we have. What we do have is this moment, this breath. Now I've got both cats. You can't maybe see them, but they're rubbing on my legs and checking out what might be an opportunity for connection, I guess. And is that not what we're all seeking? A connection with ourselves, a connection with others, and an opportunity perhaps just to be fully present, to feel the breath. Don't attack my camera! Oh, now she's going to stick her head up there, I think. So maybe I'm just going to sign off for the speaking part of today and enjoy western South Dakota with me. Years ago, I cultivated an attention, a practice of every time I walked through a doorway, I would pause. Ooh, cat's climbing again. I would pause and take a breath, giving myself permission to begin again. And today, I don't quite have the same discipline that I did when I was first cultivating it. And yet, my discipline is a little bit broader scoped in that I'm able to more acutely find those moments even when there is no doorway. There's no threshold to transition over. But those are tested when I'm out of my element, when I'm not in my home studio, when I'm not in even my home, in the sense that I don't know where things are. I don't know what the schedule is, because this is my parents' home. This is my parents' retirement. But what I do have control over is the breath that moves in and out of my body, and the attention to notice the thoughts that come up. In the first few days that I was here, my transition was very painful. Not only in being face to face with my parents after 2 years and seeing the transition of my mom's illness, my dad's resolve to be a strong caretaker, a loving and patient caretaker, both endearing and heartwarming and sad and overwhelming. But also the distance between who my parents, though they love me, they don't know me in my adulthood. They don't know me in my life at home. And again, it's not because they don't want to. It's because they don't have the opportunity. They don't even have the framework with which to understand the work that I do. And so I've had to redefine letting go of some of that desire to be seen, to be understood. But here's the reminder that keeps coming back to me. There's a part of me, the little girl in me, that wants my parents to look at me, to see me deeply and validate who I have become, who I've matured and grown into. And it's hard, but I am little by little able to let go of that desire and remember that I have a circle, a community, not only of students and clients, but friends and colleagues, my husband, my partner, who holds that space for me to encourage me when it's hard and to validate me when I perhaps lose that sight. And that is the magic, the power of cultivating authentic connection. So I'm reminded of that as I come here and feel just a little bit disconnected. Disconnected because of the mix of relationships as the child who is now an adult and caretaking for my parents. And yet, knowing that they have autonomy. I'm here with two of my children and a good friend of the family, and navigating their final weeks of school, again, working remotely. I can't help them do their schoolwork anymore. It's not like we can sit at the kitchen table and we go through math facts or practice spelling words. Their work is about learning to find their own self, their own truth, their identity, and their voice. So it's quite a challenge, to be honest with you, in planning for tonight's practice, tonight's women's circle, where we're talking specifically about our voice and learning how to speak our truth in a place where, honestly, it's more difficult to be myself here than it is in my home circle, in my home studio, and in my home. But in my body and with my breath, when I can cultivate a kindness in my thoughts, I can find that home safety space anywhere and as often as I need. And that to me is the practice of living yoga. Be well, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and practice. Practice showing up with authenticity. Practice finding people you can be transparent with, you can be vulnerable with. Because that's the vitality of living authentically and intimately with prana, with inspiration. Thanks for being here. Thanks for allowing me to be here. Namaste.